Welcome to IDG Chit-Chat Live for the week of March 2nd, 2015. On this episode, we'll be talking about this week in genealogy as well as topics we think you ought to know more about. Hi, welcome. I am Shannon Combs-Bennett, Creative Director for the In-Depth Genealogist. Joining me this evening are Jennifer Alford, Publisher, and Terry O'Connell, Executive Director. Thanks, ladies, for showing up again tonight.
Hi,
No
Shannon.
problem.
So, we have no genealogy TV this week to discuss. How
Sad.
sad. But yay, Sunday. This Sunday will be the premiere of the next season of Who Do You Think You Are? So we'd only have a few short days until then. And then next week you'll get to hear all about the Julie Chen episode.
Yay.
It'll be nice and fun.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of scuttlebutt going around recently on blogs and genealogy news sites and tons of information in the last few weeks coming in that can affect the world of genealogy. And we thought we would spend the next 30 minutes discussing some of these topics with the audience out there. So since I was voted on before I pushed the live button to pick the first topic, we are going to talk about my favorite subject, which is DNA. And for those of you who haven't heard, last week, it was last week, yes, it was last week, the House of Lords in the UK voted to approve three-person babies. And if you haven't heard of what that is, you should go look up three-person babies. There's some very, very good articles out on the BBC about it. It concerns mitochondrial disease. Some forms of mitochondrial disease are extremely debilitating, cause early death, can be misdiagnosed as cerebral palsy. And unfortunately, many people don't realize that, mothers don't realize that they have mutated mitochondria until they start having children, and the children have problems. Now, the UK has passed a law that will allow three-person babies. So what does that mean? That means you can actually have a woman donate an egg with healthy mitochondria in it. Her nucleus or chromosomal material will be taken out. The chromosomal material from the biological mother will be inserted, and it'll be fertilized by the biological father, thus short-circuiting the mitochondrial disease. So you will have a healthy biological child, just not with your mitochondria in it. Now, it kind of sounds like science fiction, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
But, you know, they estimate, and I don't have the numbers up in front of me because I had to close everything down so that we got a good feed. But if you go out to geneticsandSociety.org, they have a lot of really good information on it, particularly for those of us in the United States, because as of the end of January, a committee was formed here in the U.S. to figure out if this would be a possibility to happen here in the United States as well for people who are suffering from mitochondrial disease. And they estimate in the United States that between 4,000 and 6,000 children are born a year with these problems.
Oh, wow.
They estimated a child is born every 30 minutes in the U.S. who will develop a mitochondrial disease before the age of 10. So it's not like it's a small problem.
Right.
And there is a scientific solution. But the reason I bring it up is because as a genetic genealogist, it made me go, oh my God, the mitochondria line won't match.
Yeah, I was just thinking, how does that work with the DNA testing that genealogists depend on?
Yeah.
Is that going to be, obviously the Y DNA wouldn't be affected
If it's a boy,
if it was
that's
a boy.
True. Mm-hmm.
But both male and females inherit the mitochondrial,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes, that's correct.
So then it wouldn't match his actual mother. Well, who would be his actual mother? You know?
The scientists,
How does that work? Are you
So-
half this mother and half that mother?
no, because autosomally, you would be the two biological parents.
Okay.
So the chromosomes would be the same for the biological parents,
Okay.
right? Mitochondrial, okay, so for those of you who don't understand or don't know what mitochondria are, let me back up a second. just we're going to have a little biology lesson.
Excellent.
So we are eukaryotic beings, meaning that we have cells with cell membranes, and inside of it are little bitty organelles. And they, without going into great detail, they do a lot of different things. And the mitochondria are an organelle. They are the powerhouse of the cell. They create energy. They keep you going. They keep your muscles going and your tissues going. And they divide as needed. And they are the only thing in your body besides the nucleus of your cell, which is where your chromosomes are. They are the only thing in your body that has DNA.
Mm.
And it's circular DNA. So we're used to seeing the pictures of chromosomes as like like X type things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these are little circles. And there's hundreds and thousands of these in your cells. They don't mix with anything else.
Mm.
They replicate, and they're identical when they replicate. So it's not like when an egg and a sperm get together and they mix and they create, a new organism. These just mindlessly, you could think of it as mindlessly replicating.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess it depends. To me, because the chromosomes aren't mixing, you only have two parents.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the genetic material that makes you, you. Me,
Mm-hmm.
you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, and we can't determine in 20 years what the state of genetic genealogy will be. We don't know what tests they're going to have. We don't know what it's going to be like. But let's assume maybe it doesn't change because we're slow or whatever, right? let's assume in 20 years we have the same tests, okay? It would be, if you didn't know this had happened, because why would you know? Maybe your parents tell you, thanks to a donor you're here today, growing up. But what if it's like the children of sperm donors
Mm-hmm.
who are never told? And then when they do a genetic genealogy test, they're like, hey, something's not right. So you would match autosomally your parents,
Mm-hmm.
but then your mitochondrial DNA would not match your mother.
Hmm.
And that would be your only clue that something was not.
And that
right.
clue only would be there as if you took both tests.
The clue would only be there is if you tested your mitochondrial DNA and then your mother or her sister or her brother, one of her siblings or somebody of that line took a mitochondrial DNA test. Otherwise, you wouldn't know.
Kind of scary. Really, where will it go? Yeah.
I stumped Mary.
Who don't know, Shannon's background is obviously biology.
Yes. Yes, I'm still learning how to interpret my test results. And one of these days, Shannon, you're going to have to sit down and handhold with me.
We're just going to have to do a hangout because we had intentions at the last conference we were at, and sleep prevailed.
Yes. We needed that sleep badly.
There's always Tuesday at NGS, right?
That's right. Back in the hotel room. We'll have a DNA party. Everybody, wait a minute. No. Selected friends can bring your test results. But yeah, it's I know there's a fear among a lot of people, and some of the opponents to it were like, well, this is the slippery slope. It's the first step to designer babies, and I don't think so. Me personally, because it's not like they're saying, oh, we've developed this test and we know what color the eyes will be, therefore we are going to play with the chromosome to make sure that your child only has these eyes. They're not even messing with that information,
That would be just so scary.
They're fixing a disease that affects a lot of people. Some people who may never know, because it can be very, very mild. So you might not know you have it, and then if you're a woman and you pass it on, and then all of a sudden your children, some of these children don't live past teenagers.
Mm.
Shame.
Yeah, depending on how severe it is. Some of them make it to adulthood. Some of them are misdiagnosed with cerebral palsy
Mm.
or a seizure disorder because it wasn't determined that it was a mitochondrial disease. So it's
Hmm.
actually something that is very severe, and we could help these people have healthy, happy babies. But of course, then there's the other flip side. Well, there's always adoption, and you could do this or that or that, blah blah blah, or not have children, or people want to have kids, though.
This is what I have to say. It's amazing what science can do.
Exactly.
I may not understand it all. I
Hmm.
might have a lot of questions, but it's amazing if you sit back and look at just all the things that we can do, the things we can fix.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm still waiting on my medical miracle, so I have hope.
And
Absolutely.
we're hoping for you.
Oh, thank
Amen.
you.
Amen.
Mm.
So we had some other topics, and I won't, because I could unfortunately talk forever about DNA. We had some other topics, and there was a post that came out today, and it's a topic that a lot of people who do speaking and presentations talk about. So we thought, as lecturers and professionals, we wanted to discuss amongst ourselves and share with you our thoughts on, should speakers be paid?
Yes.
Don't hold back. Don't hold back.
Well, there are different situations. Um, there are times when you really want to speak to a particular group that that they would be very receptive and it'd be good for your business or good for your own personal um, growth as a speaker. And perhaps in those situations, maybe you take less money or do it pro bono as something that, you're doing for your own personal good or whatever, and that's fine to a point. But none of us are getting rich off of giving presentations. I wish that I could say, oh, I made so much at FGS that, I can go to all the conferences for the rest of the year. But unfortunately, you have to work with the groups that you want to speak with, and you know, try and provide content that's going to be helpful to other people, and go from there. What do you think about it, Shannon?
So I agree with a lot with what you say, because I do a lot of that. I do have a fee for speaking. And if somebody contacts me and wants to book me, I'm very upfront with, this is my speaking fee, these are my requirements, I'm willing, blah, 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 blah. And if they come back and they say, oh, well, we can't afford that, or we were hoping you would speak for free, then I'm willing to negotiate. Especially if it's an organization who I know may be underfunded, or maybe a not-for-profit, or a library system, or something like that, where if they can at least pay for, like, if I have to drive a couple hours, let's say, if they're willing to do mileage and maybe a dinner, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, it makes
or
a difference.
something, because let's say on average, I'm going to spend 20 to 30 hours creating a lecture.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And while some of my lectures I do more than once, each time I give it, I'm going to tweak it a little bit. So let's
Hmm.
say, it's not a new lecture, but I spend 5 hours changing slides around, making the graphics better, making it fit your lecture or your conference. It's nice to at least know that people think your time is worth something, because you wouldn't expect, another professional to give you 20 to 30 hours free labor on something. You would pay them. So I
Right.
don't understand why offering nothing to a speaker and say, oh, it'll be good exposure for you, which I have heard multiple times too.
Yes. Well, and I've heard that in other countries that they're even worse about paying for speaking.
I've heard that as well.
Yeah, so
And
have I.
that's just a real shame because this is a growing field.
Mhm.
This is, with the more exposure that we get with the television shows and so forth, there are going to be more people who want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And, we as genealogists, we've invested a lot of time in our own education
Mm-hmm.
and much money as well. I know Shannon's been through the Boston program. We've all been in ProGen. It's a serious investment, and our time and our knowledge that we've accumulated along the way should be respected. And if that means we get our gas paid for and a nice meal after our presentation, then so be it. But our time should be appreciated.
I think definitely something is better than nothing.
Oh yeah.
I remember this was before I even started speaking. I was having a conversation with somebody, and they went and spoke for like their local society or a local society in their area.
Mm-hmm.
And they had told the story that this person was so excited to give them their check, which was their honorarium for speakers, and it was like $25.
Oh my.
Yeah, and and the person, and I don't even remember who it was. The person had said, well, what does it cost to join your society? And it was like, $20-25. And she's like, you know what, why don't you just give me a complimentary membership to your society and we'll call it even. That's fine. But you're right, you put in all these hours, all this time into writing the lecture, putting together your PowerPoint. But that's not even talking about the time you practice to make sure you've got it, to make sure your flow is correct, to make sure that it's understandable from the newbie to somebody who's been doing genealogy for a while. There's so much that's put into it, and just to think that now I'm expected to fly across country at my own expense,
Yeah.
pay for my airfare as well. It's just, for me, it's not worth it.
Right.
I the exposure thing, but I've got kids in college. It's just not worth it. Last year, I was supposed to speak at a national level conference, and that was the whole thing. It was a for free thing, and I had to turn it down. And I ran into somebody a couple months later that worked on that program and wanted to know why I didn't go. And I told him, I'm like, I'm going to be honest, it wasn't worth it for me. I appreciate that I was picked, but I can't feasibly do that. College is expensive, kids are expensive, and you still have to live day to day.
Yeah, it's kind of like why right now, even though it's been suggested and I've been told I should apply for this conference or that conference or things on the West Coast, and here I am living on the East Coast, I cannot financially, especially if I'm only being reimbursed, let's say, nothing to $75 for a lecture, and I get picked for one lecture,
Right.
that doesn't even cover a night in the hotel room.
Right, exactly.
Let alone me spending between $300 to $1,000 on a plane ticket, depending on where I'm going.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm limited via finances to geographical. Where can I go by train? Because I love Amtrak. Or where can I drive? Or can I make it into something else? So I'm excited about going to Florida next year for NGS in Fort Lauderdale, because I have family I haven't seen in a long time in Florida, and I can make it a family trip, so I can get something else out of it,
Right.
Absolutely.
But but I can't just pick up and fly to California. I couldn't afford it,
I can borrow you some family to visit.
That's true. Well, and I think Terry brought up a good point about she had been selected for one presentation. I've been watching a couple different things about advice for people doing proposals for these different conferences and so forth, and putting in that cover letter that I need at least, this many lectures chosen for me to be able to come to your conference. Yeah, it kind of puts you out there, and maybe they don't like 3 of your proposals, but it's at least realistic, because
But
unless
you
you
move
already
on,
know, well,
you
unless you already know that you want to go to that conference,
right.
then you really need a little bit of an incentive
Mm-hmm.
in order to make it there. Um, this in Salt Lake City, I was fortunate to be chosen for 3 presentations, which made it feasible for me to go, and for all of IDG to go and stay with me.
Which we
And
appreciate.
yeah, which was great. And then I got chosen for one for Roots Tech. And at first I was really excited, and I was just like, oh, this is awesome. And then I was talking with other people, and they're like, yeah, I couldn't afford to go, so, just things come up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was really glad that, because both of those conferences were together, I was able to present at both of them.
Yeah,
It wouldn't have happened otherwise.
that is awesome.
Yeah. So thank you.
And a lot of presenters, especially people, I mean, not necessarily, unless you're saying that we aren't, okay, so we're not the big names. we're
We're not
we're
Lisa
still
Louise
making it.
Cook.
Yeah, we're still making our name, right?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people who are in the same situation as we are as presenters are afraid to, one, walk away from an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
or to, even if they say, let's say that they submitted 6 lectures, but only 2 of them get chosen, and they're going to lose money on the trip if they only go with 2. A lot of people are afraid to walk away from those opportunities, even though it means that they are going to go, a little bit in debt because of it. Because let's be honest, it's a business. You're going to go in the red, because they're afraid that if they say no, they might never get picked again.
There is that worry.
hmm I mean, so for example, I really had to struggle actually with that exact um, situation last summer. I had planned to go to San Antonio for FGS,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and they had a last minute call for papers for the short little 30-minute presentations that were going to be happening in the exhibit hall,
Mm-hmm.
and I submitted several. And it said on the call for papers that you would be notified by July 1st, or whatever it was. I think it was like July 1st, which I thought was great because that was the early bird. So if they notified me by July 1st, I could still register for the early bird. I could get down there. We would make it a family vacation because we have family in that area, that type of thing. July 1st came and went, and I never heard. So my husband and I took that money and did something else with it. And then unfortunately 3 weeks later I got notified by FGS that one of my lectures had been picked. Now, if it had been all of them, that would have been enough money to get me down there. I could have found a way to stay with somebody. Could have got down there. I would have done it. It would have been fantastic. But because only one of them at $75, and now I'm having to register for the conference, and it's no longer the discount. I've already done away with the money that I'd put aside temporarily. We'd made other plans.
Right.
And I think I sat there for 3 days staring at my computer screen going, I'm going to puke. I am going to puke. And I had to write them, and I basically stated, I'm sorry, but due to the following circumstances, and re-quoted their call for papers back to them. You had said you were going to tell me by this deadline, and due to the fact that, you did not tell me by this deadline, I unfortunately will have to say, not be able to attend. I'm so sorry. Very politely and professionally as possible, while I'm turning green because I'm turning them down. Oh my God, what am I thinking? But I had to,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
It makes sense.
And now I'm like, please don't hold it against me. Oh, but yeah.
Dear.
So moving on from there, is there anything else you guys can think about? We have
Oh,
time
there's
for
lots of
one
things
more.
I can think about.
Oh, well, I know that.
Like my hard drive crashing.
Oh, I heard your hard drive crashed. This is the.
It was great timing since I just did my 7 ways to use the cloud with your genealogy.
That's right. And
Thank
if the.
goodness for the iDrive deal.
Yeah, I was going to say, and this is the perfect segue into, in case you haven't heard, IDG has a deal on the iDrive cloud storage. Please go check out our blog.
Just for the month of March.
That's right.
So if you get our newsletters, check your email.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, it's on our website. It's a great deal. Sign up today. Back everything up.
Yes.
It's over 75% off, which I think is fantastic.
Right. And it's a terabyte of memory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's a great deal.
So, Jen, you did have everything backed up, right?
Yes. Tomorrow I will go and buy a new computer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too thrilled about that, but you come to depend on this technology.
Oh my gosh.
Right now I'm using an old computer that's Windows Vista, and most of the software that I would want to install will not work with that.
Ugh.
So I pretty much have to go get a new computer. It's in my best interest. So unfortunate, but at least I had everything backed up.
Yeah, I have to admit, I saw that message come across, and I was like, oh, I wonder where the magazine is.
It's on the cloud, right?
Yeah. Sorry, you lost your computer. Where's the magazine?
It is safely in Dropbox.
Yay!
Yeah. But I will get all my stuff set up tomorrow and spend the entire weekend finishing the magazine. Because I couldn't work on it this week because of my stupid computer.
Right.
Don't.
So again, go to the website, check out that iDrive deal.
Yes. That's so funny.
Back it up. Yeah.
We're shameless.
I know. What is with that?
We probably wouldn't have been if her computer didn't crash on her.
That's true. That's true. You need real-world disasters to happen to you to make sure that you realize how important it is to do things like that.
Yes, it's unfortunate, but oh well.
You live, you learn.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you, Terry?
Oh, luckily, my husband didn't completely freak out about it. I mean,
well, that's good.
I pay for it, but he knows that I'm a technology junkie. And so when a new toy comes out, I'm like, ooh, I have to get.
Well, I'll let you know that, because I had to buy a new laptop last fall because mine died, and the touchscreens are very nice.
Yeah, I'm not sold on that. When I tried to use yours, it just felt really weird to me.
See, the reason I like mine is because I have an iPad that I sit right here, and then I have my computer, and then I have the extra monitor, and so I don't feel stupid when I'm looking at something on the iPad and I unconsciously go to the computer monitor. And I used to go, well, crud, that doesn't work. Okay, where's my mouse?
I can see that. That makes sense.
So, that's funny. I couldn't get your computer to do anything for me when we were in Salt Lake.
I'll admit it took me a few days to get used to it and to figure out how to use it, but it was very easy. Yeah, once you got used to it, it's like, well, duh, this is what you do, and it's just not intuitive at first, I guess.
Yeah, it was a little awkward at first.
So Terry,
but, I'll go and play. I'll go and play and find a computer.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. So now it's Terry's turn. What?
I was going to say, do you have any last subjects or topics before we close this evening?
No, I think I'm good. I think we've covered kind of the scuttle that's out there this week. I'm just anxiously awaiting for Sunday evening to get my Who Do You Are fix. Who do you think you are?
I know. I'm sad it's on so late, and there's no way I'm going to be able to watch it live, so I've got the TiVo set up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did either of you manage to catch that new show, Long Lost Family?
I did.
I
Yeah?
didn't. I couldn't find it online. Is it online anywhere? And I'm
I
just
don't think
dumb
so.
and couldn't find it.
There's up live. You might want to try iTunes. You might find it there for like $2.99 a download.
Oh,
It was good.
yeah.
It was heart-wrenching. I mean, the
Mm.
last segment, I was like watching TV in the dark, bawling my eyes out. Thank God everybody
Aw.
was in bed.
Oh, don't tell me things like that. I cry
You know,
at
it's like about
everything.
people looking for their families,
Mhm.
and you know, the one story was, you know, the kid. He was like 6 years old, I think, when he was taken from his mom. Well,
Mm.
I use the word taken, but really, mom went into the store, left him in the car. I believe he was with family friends. Mom was arrested or something, and he hadn't seen her since.
Oh
Oh,
my
wow.
God.
Yeah, so he was a grown man, wanted to meet his mother. They made it
Aw.
happen, and it was just heart-wrenching, you know, to hear her tell him, you know, I knew you had a better life being away from
Mm.
Oh.
Oh.
it.
Yeah, but I
Mm.
can't imagine being a 6-year-old and wondering. Yeah.
He said as he got older, he knew things weren't right, and he knew he was where he should be.
Mhm.
Um, but it just, I mean, if you're a very emotional person, you have to be more than a hanky.
Like we all are.
Yeah.
You need more than a hanky. You need like a towel, because I'm
dear.
like this through the whole thing.
Aw.
But it was well told, though. I think that the beginning of it, it went kind of right into the stories and didn't. They told you that they were the pro genealogists from Ancestry.com,
Mm.
but they didn't give you background on these people. So, like, I don't even know what the people that were telling the stories. I have no clue what their names are.
Mm.
And I thought that was a little awkward, but you could tell it was done by the people who did Who Do You Think You Are? It's the same guy giving the background voiceover stuff. So
Mhm.
it was very, very well done. And if you can find it, you know, it would be worth the $2.99 iTunes download, if that's what it is.
Now, I read a thing online about it, and it made it sound like this is its third season. So it's like it's been on before. Is this actually a brand new show, or is this just the first
It's
season?
a brand new show, and I don't think it's a series. I think it was just the one show, to my
See, I
knowledge.
get that impression. I got the impression that this show originated
Now I'm gonna
maybe
look it
over in
up.
England or something.
Now
And
they
this is the
It wasn't
have.
really England,
American
but I did watch. No, it was called I'm Looking for My Mum, or
version.
Finding My Mum, or something like that,
Well,
which was really good.
Long Lost Family. Let's see here. Here's a season 4, episode 7. This is a British version.
Oh, interesting.
Sorry, I got on the great God Google for a minute.
Uncle Google is your
Um,
friend.
Come back.
Oh, no, pause. Don't play. um, it has the same square logo thingy. That was descriptive, wasn't it?
I've got you.
I could use my words.
Impact
my
input.
Yeah, so Long Lost Family, here's a tvguide.co.uk. So yeah, it's a UK, but let me put it, it's on TLC, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me see what comes up when I type in TLC. So Lisa Joyner is one of the hosts. That just popped up.
Okay, that's good.
Um,
The other one was a guy.
okay, let's see here. Oh, Dick Eastman has a blog about it. Go figure.
Well, there's nothing up in. I did a search on my
Chris Jacobs.
Uverse, and there's nothing out there for like another show. So
Mm.
Okay, yeah, so Chris Jacobs and Lisa Joyner are the hosts, and this was a 1-hour special, Long Lost Family, premiering Sunday, March 1st. And it goes right into the story. Produced by Shed Media, which also produces Who Do You Think You Are? So yeah, it doesn't say that it's going to be a series.
maybe
it was a trial.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So there you go.
At the very
They're
least,
at least
there's
up to
now a
season
UK
4 in
one
the
to check
UK.
out.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
up to at least season 4 over there, and it's on there's episodes on YouTube. Whether or not they are actually non-pirated episodes, I cannot confirm or deny. So
Yeah.
Like I need to get back on YouTube and find more TV to watch.
yeah.
With all that free time we all have.
What's free time?
Yeah, I don't
Free
I
time.
don't have any
You
of
have
that.
free time?
No.
Okay. Well, ladies, I think our time is up for this evening. We've chit-chatted quite a while, almost 45 minutes. Unbelievable.
Wow.
We're long-winded. But thank you again for joining us this evening. It was great to have everybody here on the panel as well as in YouTube land. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come and listen to us. And remember, we'd love to hear back from you. Please drop us a line. You can drop them here in the comments below. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Send us an email at editor@theinDepthGenealogist.com. So on that note, have a great evening, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.